What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you an update to Mathmech. I'll also bring you two combos, one for going first, one for going second. I've made this deck very, very simplistic and on the tightest budget as I possibly can within the Mathmech realms. But if you do have the additional upgrades that you do need for this deck, such as droplets, triple tactical talents, then by all means you can put them in very, very easily. With that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Again, as with all of the other profiles, if you get this video to 50 likes, I will unlock a test hand video for this specific deck here. With that out of the way, let's get into today's profile of Simple Mathmech. Now what I mean by simple of this is I've actually taken away the whole complexity of trying to combo climb and everything like that. You've got a very nice combo that goes first from two cards that sets you up a negate to get past Nibiru if your opponent leaves it too late, and then you have the ability to trish them. If you want to add more to it, you can start adding more of the code talker cards, and then that then allows you to get an additional negate as well. So we start off with Triple Mathmech Nabla. Now to me, this is the most important card. Purely because it's a tuner, it allows you to tribute a Cyverse monster to special summon a Mathmech from your deck, so any Cyverse monster. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you target one Cyverse monster you control in the extra monster zone. It can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each of the battle phases. But the idea is that you're going to use Nabla. Nabla is going to get you into multiplication. Multiplication straight away, those two cards on their own make you your Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma, which is your boss game winner. We play, of course, triples of all of the special summon cards. You've got Triple Sigma, which allows you to special summon it if you have a monster in the extra monster zone. If you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, while this card is in the hand or graveyard, you can special summon it. So it's a free level 4 tuner, but it does banish itself when it leaves the field. Triple Subtraction, as the name says, you target one monster on the field, reduce it by 1000 attack, and then special summon this card. This card can't attack the turn you activate that effect, which is fine, you're just using it as an additional body. And Triple Addition does exactly what it says on the tin. Target one monster on the field, give it 1000 attack, special summon this card. But again, this card can't attack. The idea behind Mathmech is you are just being able to go boost, boost, boost your final Sigma monster and then just swing in for the game. Not that you even need to do that, but it does give you those other options. The best thing about these cards as well is unless your opponent playing VFD specifically calls fire or light, you can still trigger these effects in the hand, purely because they don't become that attribute in the hand. So it's only on field or grave, which is very, very important. So if they don't call the exact attribute you have in your hand, you can still activate these, which means against VFD you can wall up, or as we go through the profile, against VFD you can actually clear their board and then make a Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma and then pull them out and pretty much win from the next turn onwards. We've then got Double Division, you can probably cut this down to 1 if you want to, and Double Multiplication. Now the reason these have been cut down from 3s to 2 is purely because these are the more cloggier of the cards, because they don't special summon themselves, they are the normal summon, and your normal summon really wants to be taken up with the other Mathmechs. More so, the only one that you really want to normal summon, or you might normal summon, is Diameter. Your other normal summon of the deck would be Balancer Lord. So these cards here, if they're sent to the graveyard, so this one can halve an opponent's monster's attack, this one can double an opponent's attack, a monster's attack. This one can also duplicate, so it makes a level 4 a level 8, which is why it's very, very simple and part of an easy 2-card combo to get you into your Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma. And what we also do, because we do play the Mathmech Billion Blade Natura, again, personal preference, these can come in very, very handy because during damage calculation you can send these and then their effects can go off as well to halve and increase or whatever you might need to get past it. So it's another way of getting past the Vanity's Fiend. And what I've done with this deck is I've actually taken into a huge consideration up against stuff like Virtual Worlds, up against stuff like Drytrons, how you can play against it. Purely just by going, right, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to go second, off you go, do your thing, and then consistently you break their board, and then either you're going to win or you're going to stun them out during the next turn so that when it does come back to you, you are going to be able to OTK. We then played 2 of the most recent card. I say recent, it came out in Rise of the Duelist, but Mathmech Diameter, incredibly good card. It's a shame that its effect is when this card is normals. Normal summons, you target one level 4 Cyberse monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate its effect, which is fine because it just gives you an instant access to a level 8 Synchro, or you can bring it, if you get 2 more on board, you've got instant 12s. But what its second effect is what makes it incredibly powerful. So, if a Mathmech monster that was Synchro or XYZ summoned using this card is on the field, as material gains the following effect. So once per turn, during the turn, a card was special. During the turn, this card was special summoned, talking about the XYZ or Synchro. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you negate the activation. Only use each effect once per turn. So obviously the idea is that you're going to be using this as material during your turn, protect from Nibiru. Then you use it, bringing back with the trap card to make into your Lampseal, which is obviously going to be like a Trishula. And then you're going to also have a negate on that card as well, should they try and stop it. We've then got Triple Bouncer Lord. Now, again, I've put this back to brass tacks simplicity. You can play stuff like Lady Debug, you can play Flame Buffalo, you can also play Parallel XZs, but I've gone literally back to basics. My goal is to go Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma, smash over a card, win the game. Go into game 2, they try and make me go first if they want to play that way. I will then start putting in stuff like Ibli, I'll start putting in stuff like the Cyverse Talker or the Code Talker, and that's when you can then surprise them by producing an even more powerful first turn board, and they're just like, yeah, I didn't know Mathmech could do that. And that's where it gets very, very easy, because then you've got a 7-card Kaiju engine, or, well, technically 8 if you include this guy here, Prankatops, that you can just take out and go, cool, the easiest side deck I'll ever have in my life. Now, the reason I've kept Prankatops in here over something like the Great Beast or anything like that, what it kind of does is it does give me that ability that if my opponent holds off on the VFD because they're worried that during the main phase I'm going to try and imperm them, what I can do as turn player priority is in my main phase I can special summon Prankatops. They will then declare to try and use VFD, which is absolutely fine, because then what I can do is I can chain Prankatops. Prankatops can then get rid of if they have a secondary VFD, or they can get rid of anything else, or you get rid of the trap. And the best thing to get rid of with Prankatops would be the trap, because in the way this would then resolve is, or throughout the combos, you'd go Prankatops, pop the trap, you're under VFD, absolutely fine. Activate Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, clear their entire board, give them a weaker Kaiju. As long as you give yourself a level 8 Kaiju, then all you need to do is normal summon a level 4 Tuner, or special summon one if they haven't called the correct attribute, because they might think you're playing Dinos and they call Dark or Light. Then you sync that together, you've got a Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma in your main monster zone. Your opponent has no monsters, no traps. All they have is a Kaiju that if you've made it weak enough or given them a weaker one, is not a worry to you whatsoever. Then that's obviously on the Virtual World example. On the Drytron example, it's a little bit different. You do need to get to Imperm, or you need to get to the Million Blade plus any Mathmech, and that will give you game. Or will not give you game, but it will give you enough to get rid of the vanities. So then you can then go into main phase 2, and that's where you do your full combo to then climb higher, and that's where you get into your Omni Negates and just general Trish plays as well. And the Trish plays against Drytron are going to be incredibly powerful. The only matchup that this isn't technically prepared for is like an Eldritch, but to kind of adapt to that, you'd take away your Kaijus are still good because you take away the Zeus, but you'd focus more on getting rid of their back row, and that's where Cosmic Cyclone and stuff like that would come in. Speaking of the Kaijus, you play all the level 8s, so the one Gandala, the one Kaiju Gameciel, and the one Dogoran, because you want to give yourself a level 8. That's what's really important in this, is because the level 8 plus your level 4 gives you your Final Sigma. Straight away, done, dusted, sorted. You then want to play, obviously, the weaker ones you've got, which is Gameciel and, of course, Sticky String Kaiju, purely because they are just the lower attacks. Not that you need to worry too much with your Final Sigma, but you don't really want to give them a Dogoran, because then the Dogoran's just going to be able to pretty much crash with it. Then going into the spells, you've got Triple Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Now, this cannot, and I repeat, cannot be activated under Vanity's Ruler or Vanity's Fiend or anything like that. Yes, it does destroy, but you need to be able to resolve the full card effect upon activation. Because you cannot special summon under Vanity's Ruler, you cannot activate Kaiju Slumber. So, that is again where Imperm comes in, or if you upgrade, you can go into Forbidden Droplet, because some of your cards don't mind being in the graveyard. You're turning off your opponent's monsters, then you go Kaiju Slumber, clear the board off, and off you go. And I think right now, with a deck like Mathmech, when you have the ability of going second on such a powerful and consistent basis, there's near second to none options with kaijus. Like, they're so good, and they really do hurt your opponent if they're not expecting it, or if they think that they're just going to be able to breeze straight through it. Another thing that you can kind of take into consideration off of the back of kaijus as well is under Mathmech you could play Rasphere mode, but you're probably going to be locked under a not so much of vanities, but you're going to be locked under the VFD plays as you do go through that. So you do have to be quite conscious of what you're doing. But again, like I said, this is an easy 7 to 8 card side-out engine if you're expecting to be made to go first. And what you can do is you can choose to go second in game 1, then choose to go, your opponent makes you go second again game 2, and they're like, yeah, fine, I won't need to worry about it, whatever. Then in game 3, because they're like, oh yeah, they're just a go second deck, they can't play if they go second, you just switch the tables on them and go, I'm going to go first this time. And they're like, what? And then before they know it, because in the past 2 games you haven't shown them, like, not a lot of people know what Mathmechs do, but in the past 2 games, you've shown them that they don't need to combo heavy. Like, they can literally just go 1, 2, Yugioh Mathmech. And then they're like, cool, I just lost the game on that one. So then they might not even put Nibiru's in if they don't know what they're facing. So then you just go first. If you're worried about Nibiru, I'll show you that combo where you can protect from Nibiru. If you're not, you just go absolutely ham, set up your board, and they're like, cool, I'm facing down a counter trap, a Trishula, and an Omni Negate. And then of course we've got Triple Signet Mining. This counts as pretty much 6 to 5 of all of your cards. You only play Cyverse monsters if you wanted to, apart from your kaijus of course and the prank tops. If you wanted to play like Ash Blossoms and Gammas and stuff like that, you can do. But the Signet Mining, ideally your first target is Balancer Lord, your second target if you want a normal summon will be Diameter, and then everything else from that point will be searchable throughout the deck. Double Pot Desires, as you've seen, everything here we play at freeze. Even the kaijus, we play 4 different versions of it. The only time it will suck is if you banish 2 kaijus and draw a kaiju, because then you can't resolve Slumber. But it's still incredibly powerful and does the job for you. And then for the last one-offs of the spells, we've got the 1 Million Blade and the 1 Equation. Searchable Monster Reborn. And then, like I told you with this one, is you equip only to a Cyverse monster, and if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can send 1 Mathmech monster from your deck to the graveyard. The equipped monster gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. And then if this card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, take 1 Mathmech card in your graveyard, accept it itself, and add it back to your hand. So it gives you recyclability. But the idea is that you're just going to be able to flood your graveyard with what you need, your divisions, your multiplications, whatever, and again, you're going to guarantee that smash through for game. Then for the traps, triple imperm, because you need to be able to turn off vanities. That's what makes it so important. And the 1 super fractional, you can change this up and put 2 in if you want, but 1 is more than enough because you kind of want to, like, throughout your combo, you're going to get to the card to search this. So you don't actually even want to open it because you're going to, on a consistent basis, search into it, which gets you exactly where you need to be anyway. The only time it would suck is if you're under Draw and Lockbird. So, again, specific matchup, adapt for that. For the extra deck, we play 2 Final Sigma. This card is boss. Love it, love it, love it. It's generic as well. One tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. Unaffected by card effects except Mathmech cards while it is in the extra monster zone. If this card is in the extra monster zone, battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. Only use the effect once per turn. Now, obviously the idea is you're going to bring out a 3k beat monster, it's going to go into your extra monster zone, it's going to be doing double damage. You make it with Nabla and multiplication, it goes up to a 6k base, it can attack twice, so all it really needs to do is attack once over an attack position monster, and it's going to end up doing, let's say they've got a VFD on board, it's a 3k monster, it's going to end up doing 6k, not 6k, sorry, it's going to do 3, double it up, 12, it's going to do 12k damage, like it's pretty much just going to wipe your opponent out, like 9k straight to the face. It's absolutely nuts. And then if they, by somehow, do manage to survive, then you get to attack again. Now, the only time that you might consider changing the extra deck up is if you wanted to put in like a Pentastag. But then, again, this only gets its effect by being in the extra monster zone. So when it's not in the extra monster zone, you're still just going there for double piercing, like just piercing. That's all you really want to do. We've got Alan Bershan, so we've got 2 of these guys. So this one is 2 plus level 4 monsters, so again, nice and generic. You detach 2 materials, you add a Mathmech card, that's where you get super fractional. You detach 3, you get to add 1 level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. You detach 4, you add any spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. Now, you don't want to be putting 4 in this, you can, but you don't want to. You only need to get to 2. You want to get to your super fractional. That's it. That's all you need. Simple, direct. And then the second one is only there as if the first one gets stopped, and the second one will then go and get you the spell or the spell card for your later turns. Got the one Lapsian. This again is just a Trishula. So it requires 3+ level 4 monsters. If a Mathmech card you control would be destroyed by card effect, detach 1 material from this card instead. If this card has is XYZ summoned, you can detach up to 3 materials from this card. Then choose the main effect. You cannot choose the same effect twice. So you send 1 monster from your opponent's hand, 1 monster from your opponent's field, and 1 spell and trap your opponent controls to the graveyard. So you can only detach 2. You send 2. It's entirely up to you. One thing that I should mention about Alan Bershin as well is it does have the effect that you contribute 1 monster to special on 1 level 4 Mathmech monster from your hand or graveyard. So the idea is that you get to basically, once he's used his effect, you tribute him off, bring back like a Nabla, a multiplication, anything like that, and then you do your effects from there. We've then got the one Yugioh Mathmech Magma. So again, this is the lower level synchro. This is more so if you need to destroy cards. So again, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners, level 8, I believe. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 Mathmech spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Only use each effect once per turn. Now, you can take this out if you want to, but in any level 8, but I really, really like it, and that's why I want to try and keep it as pure as possible. For the link ones, you've got the one Disciple. You've probably seen this in every other profile, but the combo pretty much goes Disciple, Devotee into Wicked. That's pretty much the standard combo. So good, so simple, direct and to the point. We've then, for the other level ones, you've got the one Link Karibo. Again, part of the combo. Simple combo, gets you where you need to, and gets everything moving. You've then got your Link 2s of your Splash Mage. I've personally put in Update Jammer. Just, again, if you've got an access code, you can put access code in here. You can even put transcode in here. But it's so easy to be made. And then, if you're going to end up on an Avramax, your Avramax is just going to go, cool, I'm winning this game here. And the idea is that you just want to give all your boss monsters, again, keeping in mind that when you're putting these in the extra monster zone, it means your Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma isn't going to be there. So the only time that it's good to do that is if you were to have, for example, Link Karibo, make Avramax below it, and then tribute off Link Karibo with an effect of a Mathmech card, mainly Nabla, then you're going to end up with overkill, but it is there as an option if you need it. And then, of course, you've got your Unicorn that's going to come off of the back of an IP Masquerena. The Unicorn can be changed for Phoenix, can be pretty much anything you want. If you've got access codes, you can put him in there, because by the time you're going to get into access codes, you're going to end up having a water, a light, an earth, and a possible wind in the graveyard as well. So your access code is another direct route into an OTK win. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for the profile. Now it's time to show you the 2 combos for the deck. Okay, so now to show you the 2-card combo that is going to set up your first turn board. Now, obviously, it can be a little bit more productive, but obviously the idea behind this is to literally, and I'll show you this one first, 2-card combo. 2-card combo gets you game. You go normal summon Nabla, or get Nabla to the board in any way whatsoever. Get an additional Cyverse, whether it be a special summon off of Addition, a special summon off of Sigma, a special summon off of Subtraction, or an additional normal summon off a Lord. So you've got 4 ways to do it. All you've got to do is get an additional monster on the board, Nabla's effect, tribute any one of these you've just brought to the board, bring out Multiplication, Multiplication's effect, make this a level 8, or itself a level 8, sync, boom. This is going to be in the extra monster zone. This is now 6k base. It can do double damage, it can attack twice, and it's just going to go boom, boom, game. Boom. And this is your technically 5th summon, I believe. Nabla, 1, 3, 4. 4th summon. So, Nibiru, not a worry. OTK, sorted. Obviously, if you turn your opponent's board off, even better. Now I'm going to show you the very, very simple 2-card combo. I've shown these before, but all you need to do is open up Balance the Lord, which you've got Silent Mining for, and then any other Mathmech. Now, you can adapt this as long as you've got 2 Mathmechs that can special summon themselves. You'll be absolutely fine without Balance the Lord. What we're going to do, of course, we're just going to use any one diameter, so it doesn't even need to be... If you've got one that special summons itself in this combo, then you save yourself 1,000 life points, or you can bait out an imperm with this effect. If you don't, then you need to resolve the additional summon of Balance the Lord. So you normal summon your Balance the Lord's effect to get an additional normal summon of diameter, or whatever Mathmech you have. Then you're going to turn the diameter into your... Where is he? Disciple. You're then going to turn your Balance the Lord into the Devotee, That will then trigger Disciple to tribute Devotee, which gives you 2 tokens, and will let you draw 1 and put 1 back to the bottom of the deck. So just so that we resolve that effect correctly. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use 1 token plus the Disciple, and you're going to go into the Cyverse Wicked. Now with this Devotee, we are locked into only, you can't go into link 3 or higher, which is absolutely fine, we don't need to. So then what you're going to do is you're going to turn this final token and you're going to go into a link Garibo or a link Karibo, whichever one you want to do. It doesn't really matter, you're just using this as fodder anyway. You're then going to use Wicked's effect, which will trigger, and because we've got Balancer Lord in the graveyard, we're going to banish Balancer Lord. You're going to add a tuner to your hand, which will be Nabbler. You're going to special summon Nabbler off the back of the Balancer Lord effect. Nabbler's effect to tribute link Karibo. And this is specific, you do need to get Division out, because then from this point on what you're going to do is you're going to overlay these 2, and you're going to go into, now this would adapt, so if your opening card was Division with your Balancer Lord, then you'd go for Diameter. So the idea is you do need to get Division into the graveyard. You should overlay these 2 into your Allen Bershon, you detach both materials from this, Allen Bershon will then get you the Super Fractional, boom, that gets set. You then use Allen Bershon's effect to tribute itself to bring back Division. Division will then tribute the Wicked to special summon from hand or grave up to 1 of each. We're just going to bring it from grave, so we can bring back the Nabbler if you want. You can make a level 8 Synchro here if you want, because you haven't been locked into Cyverse unless you do it with, unless you use Sigma's effect. So if you want to, you could play Savage, entirely up to you, but what we're going to do here, just going to link these 2 together. This is just very, very simple, like the simplest combo. If you want to, like I said, if you want to complicate it more, you can do. You got IP Masquerena. And then obviously what you're going to do during your next turn is you're going to flip your Super Fractional. You're going to bring back the Division, the Nabbler, and the monster that was summoned off of Balancer Lord. You're going to put all of those free, doesn't really matter where it goes now, into your Laplacian. Laplacian is then going to be able to detach 2 or 3 or whatever, however many you want. Going to send 1 from hand, 1 from spell and trap zone, 1 from the monster zone to the graveyard. Then you can use IP Masquerena and you can go into Unicorn. Now obviously if you have a discard, which you should do, you'll be able to use that as well. And that's it. That's a very simple one. That's not the best first turn combo. The best first turn combo comes when you start siding in your extra deck cards as well, because that's where I'd put in like Ibli. I would also put in the Code Talkers and just stuff like that to make it a little bit more consistent. But the whole idea behind this deck is to consistently clear my opponent's board, get past my opponent's like you can't play the game board and pass, and then swing in for game. That's the goal, guys, with this deck, is to be an underdog rogue deck that's going to be able to win the game outright. Simple as that. So yeah, I hope you like this combo. Like I said, if you smash that like button and get 50 likes, I'll show you a full test hand combo. And what I'll actually do in these test hands as well is I'll show you the side deck. I'll side in the side deck cards as well for going first, so you can see how the deck then adapts to different situations, especially when they're facing stuff like VFDs, Shen Shens, and of course Vanity Rulers as well. But for now, as absolutely always, guys, please stay safe and happy dueling.